What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald, also known as Youcapper Sports on Twitter at Youcapper, basically at Youcapper Sports. We got LJ, first time on the show. LJ from H-Town. This guy has been, I seen this guy in the chats a lot. I seen him on multiple shows as well. We've been rocking together for a little bit, just chatting and all that stuff. But first time on this show specifically, it's really dope to have you on here because I think you bring a lot of positive vibes to every channel that I see you on. Every time that we talk to each other, DMs or through the YouTube chats and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, just sharing information and all that stuff. Sometimes you come with angles that I haven't seen before, especially like your player props and things like that. Really excited to break down this card with you. Again, man, appreciate you coming on today. We were just talking a little bit briefly before the show here. We both touch on different sports. I know we really focus in on the NBA as far as like talking about it because naturally we played the sport, we know the sport really well, we know the players, we follow it. But some of the other sports that we don't typically follow or know, for like the back of our hand, like hockey or college basketball
Yeah.
or baseball and all these things, we actually kept those well because we don't have that personal feel to that game. You don't take things personally, right? Because you're not like the hugest fans of these players or teams, but we are profitable in those because we only look at the numbers. Talk about LJ, just because you've been here for the first time. Talk about some of the other sports you cap. Where else can we see some of your work?
Oh, well, I do pretty much all four major sports. I do the football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. I try to key in on the stats and the trends, because a lot of times you can't watch all these games, so you have to key in on certain situations to see where these teams are vulnerable at, for as their schedule, injuries, things like that. So it's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration in trying to make money in these sports bettings on these teams because, for instance, NBA, a lot of times you have to wait to the last minute before these guys get ruled in. So you have to have a strategic plan on how you're going to attack it. So before as I do all four major sports for the most part, Ron, and I'm pretty much, I make good money in it. Sports betting, has changed my life for us, like still having to work, and things like that. It's just extra income, just to supplement my time. But
Yeah.
I'm trying, I want to get to the point to where I can just do it professionally and make money and enjoy doing what we do because this is our passion. We love to do it. So why not make a career of it?
That's the thing, man. When it's your passion, when you love it, it becomes something that you really take seriously, and you start to grow a little bit quicker because of it. And I think what a lot of people do, like you mentioned, you want to be a professional capper and stuff like that. Sometimes it really just takes a leap of faith, right? Because you do it well. You obviously do because you're on shows, not just like this show here specifically, but on other people's shows. And you show that you have all the knowledge and information that you need to get it done. And a lot of people, like I said, man, it really just takes that leap that just bet on yourself, right? You're betting on other people, why not bet on yourself? You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I think that's one thing that, I mean, I'm rooting for you. Hopefully you get it done sooner rather than later. But with that said, man, let's get into this slate here. We were talking right before the show. We got 4 games that we do want to talk about. To the guys in the chat or the ladies in the chat as well, drop some games that you guys want to see. Drop some of your plays. Drop some of your angles as we go through the games, because this is Let's Cap. This is us doing it together for the most part. First game up on the board, LJ. We want to talk about this Cavs and Pistons game. The reason why I wanted to bring this one up first is because of some of the injury implications that are coming up right here this morning on the Cleveland side, and we know that the number is going to continue to move. It is at 221.5. You did take the under 223 before some of the news came out, so good on you on that. But this is something that I feel like maybe we take, if you like the under, take it now rather than later, because Garland or Mitchell might be out of this game. Do you think both will be sitting, or do you think it's just one or the other here?
If I had to put my money on it, I believe that Garland will play and Mitchell sits because he has the more concerning injury with that groin. I believe he's been hampering that groin for all season. So it's more tentative to keep him out and let him rest against a Detroit team that really is not going to put any effort in to try to win this game because they're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. So I really feel Garland will play, but at the same time, I don't think Detroit can put up enough points and make that total go over, even if it's going to steady climb down.
Yeah,
I still believe that you could take the under right now because of considering how Detroit has been trending and playing as of late.
yeah. I mean, for me, even before when I was looking at this last night, I didn't know. I mean, obviously, Garland and Mitchell weren't questionable at the time when I first saw the first injury report from yesterday, but I was already kind of looking towards that under here. If you look at the Pistons specifically, we look at the Pistons, they've gone under in 5 straight games, and you can see 8 of the last 10 as well. So a lot of the things really is their offense. Their offense is struggling pretty badly the last 10 games specifically. Their team total under 8 of the last 10 as well. If we look on the on the Cavs side here, you look at them at home, they're actually a very strong under at home.
Yep. First half specifically.
Yeah, so if we look at this, we take Cavaliers at home. There you go. We got 14 and 14 from a numbers perspective, right? But if you look at just the total, they're only allowing their opponents to score 106 points per game. So I think one thing that Vaughn mentions here in the chat, the team total Pistons under, that might be a one way to look there. You can see here, look how many team total unders in the last few games here. There's a big portion here towards the beginning of the season where almost every game their opponent was going under their team total. I think one thing to mention though, it really is the Mitchell and the Garland. That's where the overall under kind of comes into play because they're missing a lot of offense there, especially if Garland is out for this game. He's the main facilitator, right? Mitchell, obviously he's a main scorer, but sometimes in teams like this where you have a set offense, the facilitator is more that key guy that runs is the more important part of that offense. I mean, I don't know who's gonna play, who's not. Who do you think was gonna sit? Do you think Mitchell's gonna sit?
Yeah, I think Mitchell's gonna sit, and I believe Garland will play. But if they're both out, I like the under even more because, like you just mentioned, somebody else is gonna have to handle the ball. That causes turnovers. Sloppy play, empty possessions, things like that. So
yeah. Here's another thing too, as well. If we go to teams that the Cavs already beat, and then they're at home, 6-1 straight up, 4-2 ATS, 5-2 to the under. Again, you can see 106.6 there. Do you happen to know what the team total is for the Pistons on the under? Because that might be the way to go there, because you can see 5 of the last 6 they've gone under the team total, and that includes an OT game. This one probably would have went under. What was it?
105.5 team total for the Pistons.
105.5. It would be really that close to what that would. I mean, to be honest, man, that's really the only way that I go. Let's go to the Pistons side real quick. Pistons, and we know that they're in a revenge game here. They don't do well in this spot at all. 1-19 straight up, 117 and 2 ATS. But this number is so huge. At what is it? So this Killer Sports has it at 13. If we look at the current number, I think it's at 11. Yeah, 11. It's come down a little bit. This might be a spot where it gives us more value on the Cleveland side. Right? It's come down a little bit, 11, double digit, but they still, if we go back to the Pistons in the spot, man, they're losing by 14.4 per game. Yes. I can only look towards the Cavs here at the 11. And especially if it keeps coming down, maybe we wait for the official news of someone coming down and take that Cavs side.
Yeah, I agree. And I wouldn't be mad at the first half full game because the Cavs have been trending up last 3 games. They're
covering these big numbers, dude. Look at this.
Yeah. So
I'm going to write that down because I know we were leaning towards the under, but it might be a good look on the Cavs side as well. On the spread there.
Definitely.
All right.
I agree.
Well, Jay's on the other side. He got the Pistons. Hopefully he got the 13. Maybe he got the 13 there. Well, those would be my leans there, would be the Cavs and the under. Did you see anything from a prop side?
No, not if any prop, I would have probably took a Mitchell or Garland prop. And they're both questionable, so I didn't even look. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Props is tough on this one here, especially with not knowing who's going to be in there. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we got the Pacers and the Heat.
Yep.
Go ahead and talk about this game. What are your looks on this one?
Oh, I definitely took the under already, 223, bet it early. Just the simple fact of the trend in both of these teams. You know, the Pacers, they went under 6 out of the last 8 games versus Miami. Miami's 5 out of the last 5 games at home have went under. And considering the points that they've been putting up, both teams are only averaging like 106. Miami's averaging 106 in the last 3. Pacers are averaging 107. So the under has been trending tremendously in this matchup. And the last 3 times that these teams have played, the unders have hit a total of 193. So it all pointed to the under to me. As far as the pace of the team, both the Pacers have been playing well as of late, but they tend to die off at the end of games. And Miami at home, you can't really trust them. You know, they're 6-15-2 as a home favorite, 5-14-1 as a more than 4-point favorites, and 9 of those have been outright losses. So, you know, you could go either side. I wouldn't be mad at the Pacers, you know, to cover the spread, but for me to be safe, I don't see a lot of points being put up. So I just smashed the under as soon as I woke up this morning.
I think the under, if it goes under as well, it's good for the Pacers, right? That the lower the score, the tighter the game should be, in my opinion. So the +7 is in play for me, the Pacers here. I do agree with the under. If you look at their matchups so far this season, Pacers versus the Heat, all 3 games went under as well. So it bodes well for that. If we go to more team-specific stuff, we look at both of these teams are on 2+ days of rest. They're both, I mean, pretty rested here. We look at the Pacers, for the rest greater than equal or 2. 6-3 straight up, 7-2 ATS, 6-3 to the under there. We do see an average above what the current total is, but look at all these totals: 240, 230s, mid 230s, and stuff like that. If you look at towards the lower numbers here, you can see they're going under for the most part, right? We go to the Heat side, extra days of rest. Heat +2 days of rest or more. 4-5 straight up, 2-7 ATS. So that goes again for the Pacers there. 5-4 to the under. You can see the average combined score, 221-ish, around 221. We have the total at 223. So again, Pacers and the under there. If we look at the Heat, you already touched on the Heat at home, how they struggle there. 17-9 straight up, 18-6-2 against the spread. You can see that average combined score, 108.8, 107.3. Again, well below the current total. I really do like the Pacers here. I do like the under. I have not bet the under yet, though. I did take the Pacers last night at +7. Again, really, you think about the Pacers, typically high pace, high scoring, right? But if you look at them when they have a total less than 230, Pacers 11-7 to the under, so profitable, more profitable to the under. I know this average here is a little bit above what the total is, but for the most part, I feel like this is another under game here. We typically expect a lot of points from them, but this is a spot here where I think they go under. I think you mentioned it, right? For the last games went under.
Yeah, the Pacers 6 out of the last 8 versus Miami versus went under.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the trends really pointing towards the under there. Also, the Pacers, and if it stays under, I really do like the Pacers side. I agree. Anything else to add here? I know this is one thing. The Pacers had a whole bunch of games without Hallie. They were struggling. Now he's back. He's healthy. The Heat, they're struggling with injuries right now. A lot of guys out. A lot of guys even just questionable or probable for the last few weeks here. And they're missing Deadman. That's depth on the bigs with the bigs there. I don't see a focused Heat team here. I think they're going to struggle offensively, and the Pacers take advantage of it. Anything else to add on this one, LJ?
No, I'll lean the Pacers as you, because they are 9-4 versus this division, so they have a good record, you know. And we're catching Miami vulnerable, and the Pacers, you know, they tend to fight in games and hold on at the end. So there's a very possibility they could win this game outright.
Yeah, I believe that's a possibility as well.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got the Kings and Rockets. I know you like something early in this one. Talk about it, LJ.
Yeah, I took the Kings first quarter -2.5. Just the Rockets trending the last 3 games. They're only averaging 21 points in the first quarter. So, or did I say first quarter? I'm sorry, I meant Kings first quarter -2.5. Okay, I said that. Okay, yeah. Rockets averaging 21 points in the last 3, which is dead last. And the Kings also have been trending up in the first quarter as well, average around 28 to 30 rounds. So I think they jump out on the Rockets early. And I'm not mad at the full game spread as well. You know, they've beaten the Rockets already 3 times by 25, 20, and 20. So they've been handling this team very well. And I won't be mad at a first quarter under as well, because the Kings are 17-8-1 to the under first quarter on the road. So if the Rockets are only putting up 21 points, the Kings can put up 28. That still gets you at that under first quarter. So those are my looks early and often for the Kings.
Yeah, you can see how they start this game off 32.7 to 27.7. All three games did go over, but this game today, I believe it opened up above 241. Like 241 or 241 and a half. It's come down to 239. So the market is agreeing that it's probably going to be an under game here. I think because the Kings already took advantage of this Rockets teams 3 times already, they might take this game a little bit lightly. But for the most part, look at this fourth quarter gap. About 12 points there. I think the biggest difference is how the teams close out these games. There's a situation here where the Rockets could possibly, obviously I think they're going to start off slow as well, but you could see a situation here where they could probably stay tight throughout the game because the Kings kind of take it easy a little bit, right?
Yeah,
maybe they get a big lead early. The Rockets come back and then they close out strong. The Kings close out strong to finish off the big spread here. They've covered by a huge margin, 20, like you said, 20, 25, and 20. Some of the trends here to look at as well. If we look at the King side, we go to the King side and we say that they're conference road games. So we say and A and C. They're 11-3 against the spread, 9-5 straight up, 9-5 to the under. So that kind of goes with your under there. Also, it doesn't really 100% support that first quarter. But they are covering these games for the most part because in some of these games they were actually dogs. So maybe let's look at how they do as road favorites. 6-2 straight up, 6-2 ATS, 4-4 over under. The average right there is really 236. So still under the 239. For some reason that gap isn't as big as I thought it was gonna be. There it is. It's because they lost this game by 34.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what brings the average down a little bit. What happened in this game? Maybe they were on the first end of back-to-back games.
Were they missing people?
Oh yeah, Fox was out. That's when Fox had his baby. Fox, he was out. So that's the reason why they lost that game by a huge margin. So you can kind of, if you take that game out, let's take that game out there, and we take that game out specifically, 6-1 straight up, 6-1 ATS. There you go. There's a bigger gap there, close to 3 points. Also 6 points at the first half. They're definitely getting it done in this spot here specifically. If we go to another area, they came off a game where they scored 130 points. Typically, we think of a letdown spot, right?
Typically,
points. If you come off a huge game, people was like, all right, well, they just scored 130. Maybe they have a letdown game offensively. The Kings aren't like that. 9-2 straight up, 8-3 ATS in that spot, averaging a 10-point, a double-digit margin full game. Again, close to 3 points on that full game, on that first quarter there. They did lose to the Raptors here by a big margin. They also lost to the Wizards by a big margin. But if we expect them to win, they're getting it done by margin. You can see a lot of double-digit wins here. So I could see the Kings running away with this one for the most part, even if it's just in that fourth quarter. They could probably take advantage and win by double digits there. Let's go with I like the Kings. Maybe even look towards the Kings team total. I don't know. Maybe they do the over there, but for the most part, I think the Kings take advantage of it and get the win and the cover. Any last words on this game here before we move on to the next one?
No, I agree. Kings early and often.
Let's go. All right, so let's go with this Warriors and Blazers. We do have the total at 234.5 or 235 at some books as well. LJ, talk about what you got in this one.
I'm taking up Portland. I think it's a big revenge spot for them, considering how they lost to the Warriors earlier.
Yeah. And
I just took the first half over, full game over. I'm just looking at points in this game. because of the simple fact that the Warriors, they're averaging 67 points in the first half their last 3. Portland is averaging 68 points in the first half their last 5 first half. So that puts you at a threshold of over that 120. So I believe Portland comes out slow, and then they jump on you in the second quarter and try to cover that game in the first half. So I believe that the points are going to be scored. I can't really take a side, to be honest with you, because Portland doesn't play defense. So I don't know if they're going to be intensified enough to make stops and things like that down the stretch. But as far as totals, I believe if they try to outscore you, and the Warriors team that's also averaging a lot of points as well, they're going to try to outscore them and try to take the game at the end by shooting threes, trying to be successful at things like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm with you here. If you look at the Blazers, specifically road home splits, look at their average score on the road, 110 points. If we say that they're at home, 119.3. That's a huge gap between home and road. They do like to score, but they focus more so on scoring for some reason at home than they do on the road. If we look at specifically against conference teams at home, 10-5 straight up, 11-4 ATS. Look at that over there, 12-2-1 to the over. Average combined score over 240 points. I can only look towards the over in this game here. It does bode well for your first half over as well, because you can see that their highest scoring is in that second quarter. If we look at the Warriors side, we know they've been struggling on the road for the most part of all season, and I think it does show up on the total side as well. If we go Warriors on the road, look at that, 26-1 on the road.
There you
Giving
go.
up a lot of points, 123.1, averaging 116.6. I know Curry's gone, right? Some of the offense is obviously gone away, but for the most part, they have enough firepower to keep that offense going, right? Obviously, you're not going to replace Curry, but you can replace some of the things that some of the stats, right? You're not going to replace his leadership, his ability to do some of the clutch things that he does, but the number of stats cumulatively through the Warriors team can be done.
Yeah.
In a short period of time. I wouldn't say if it was a playoffs, definitely not going to happen. On a regular season, on a day-to-day basis, if they plan well, they should be able to do well offensively.
Yeah, I agree. Because Devicino and Poole, they could get hot at any moment.
Exactly. So. Yeah, exactly. So for me, I agree with the over here. I don't know what to do with the side here. I know the Blazers do play well at home from a side perspective. Warriors struggle on the road, but I talked about this on the show. 9-18 ATS on the road. Even this 20-6 to the 1 and 1 to the over. Things are gonna flip at some point, but you got to look at the game from matchup to matchup. And I think this is a game that they just gonna try and outscore each other for the most part. Last night I was like, this 234.5 for some reason looks really low. It could be a trap. I don't know. It could be a trap. But for the most part, that number looks way too low for me. I like the over as well. I'm probably going to stay away from the side, though.
Yeah.
All right. Those were the 4 games, LJ, that we really wanted to talk about. It's up to the chat. You guys want to see anything else? Are there any other games that you guys are looking at? Or LJ, is there a game that you were leaning towards and maybe we want to try and find some angles to support it?
The only one was the 76ers Boston. That's the only one that I couldn't come to a side. I don't have a good enough sample size with this team, and they're both good defensively. And, Sixers have been playing well, especially first quarter, first half. Yeah. But Boston tends to jump on you in the second half when they're down. So this game is a toss-up to me, to be honest.
Yeah, let me bring up some stuff that I talked about in the show earlier, the triple double show. I did talk about the Sixers and the Celtics there. So I was leaning towards the Sixers team total over, and here's why. So if we look at they faced each other, what was it on the first game of the season? First game of the season. Celtics won and covered that game 126, 117. Blazers first half with -1. Jay says, hey, I always ride with you, Jay. I'll look into it more. I'll let you know if I get on it. But I do lean that way anyway. So I'll probably ride with you, and I'll end up riding with you. Back to the Sixers Celtics game. Celtics. All right, so Celtics, we go at home. Team equals Celtics. And they're at home and they're following a road game. So that travel from
Yeah.
road game to home game. 6-3 straight up, 2-7 ATS, 7-2 to the over. But if you look at their opponent's team total over, 8-1 to the over. This one did go into
Wow.
OT. These two did go into OT. These two went over in regulation though. Their opponents went over in regulation. This one
Okay.
obviously went over because of OT. So technically 7-2 to the over the team total. But for the most part, I'm looking in that direction. Look how much over they're going in these spots
Mm-hmm.
here. If we go again, another thing on the Celtics side at home as favorites, and they're facing a team that they previously beat. We go in that spot here. 8-1 to the over. If you look at this, the straight up and side perspective, right? 5-4, 4-5 ATS. Nothing significant, right? Nothing that is gonna like come and jump at you. But
Mm-hmm.
if again, look at that team total there, right? Start to
Wow.
look at it. 8-1 to the team total over for their opponents. Again, some OT games, but for the most part, this is a situation where maybe this is a tight game. Maybe it does go into OT, but you don't want to rely on that. For the most part, though, they're giving up a lot of points in that spot. 115.1. The Sixers team total is I believe 110 if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
110.
And then you go on the Sixers side here, and we say they're in a revenge situation, right? They're really good in this revenge spot so far this season. We talked about how on this show specifically, we talked about how the revenge game from a whole level has not been doing well, right? A lot of games,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those revenge games, teams are not coming back and getting it done. Sixers are one of the teams that do 8-1 straight up, 8-1 against the spread in the revenge angle so far this season. 6-3 to the over. Again,
Mm.
not only just from the spread perspective, from the team total perspective, 7-2 to their team total over. That's the way that I could look in this game here. Oh, another one, Sixers in road games.
You may have talked me onto the Sixers, Ron.
Sixers in the road games, specifically against following a road loss. There you go. All right, so nothing significant here, right? 3-3 straight up, 3-3 ATS, 3-3 over under.
Mm.
Again, though, team total over went over in 6 of those games, all 6
Wow.
games, team total over. So I can only look towards the Sixers team total
I like
over
it.
110 points. I think there's
This
going
is
to be a bounce back for the Celtics offensively at some point. This might be the game, even because the Sixers defensive rating the last 10 games, I think they're bottom 10 in the
mm-hmm.
league in defensive rating. So I think the Celtics, they might bounce back offensively here, but that's
Mm-hmm.
going to push the Sixers as well. Maybe the pace goes up. Sixers offensively last 10 games, top I think they're 6 in offensive rating, top 10 games. So their offense is already picking it up because they're getting a little bit more healthier. I know Embiid is questionable. I don't think he misses this game though.
No,
I don't think at all he's going to miss this game. So to me, team total over Sixers side. That would be the way that I go, man.
I
Well,
like
what
it.
are your thoughts?
I like it. You talked me onto it, considering the magnitude of this game. And
Yeah,
Boston shoots a lot of threes, so it's all about their efficiency, especially at home. So if they're shooting threes, making shots, I think the Sixers are going to try to match them.
yeah,
And I believe that the pace will be high. And I like your team total 110 because that's kind of low considering all what you just brought up. 110 seems low. And the Boston trends to the over at home as well. So
yeah.
yeah, I like it, Ron.
Love it. All right. Well, a line there as well. That is 5 games down. I do have a few minutes left as well. We got a prop question here. Do you guys hate Kyrie under 5.5 assists tonight? That's LJ, man. LJ is more of a prop guy than me. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, considering Kyrie's going to probably have to score because he still don't have Luka,
Yeah.
the under 5.5 may be a sharp look. It just depends on who's out there with them and if they're hitting their shots. So, if I had to make a bet, I would take the under because I think they're going to need more offensive production from Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie first game under the Mavs jersey, you would think he doesn't really have trust with the other guys yet, right? There's
Exactly.
no camaraderie there, no trust. So he's really gonna focus in on himself. Also, he has a lot of pressure to perform. Uh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I do like that. I do like that look a lot. But I'm not a prop guy, so I don't trust myself with props at this point. But listening to everybody talk about props, I do like the angles that they bring up. Let's go with
Oh,
I think
okay,
what
so
other
go.
game? Someone else mentioned the game here. Lakers and Mavs and Clippers specifically. All right, well, we just talked about Kyrie there. Did you have any angle on this game specifically, LJ?
Not specifically. I will lean to under because it's a Clippers home game, but it's just too uncertain with me as far as Dallas. I don't know who's going to come out and want to show out in front of LA. It's a lot of players on there looking, to get contracts.
Yeah,
Is Finney and Dinwiddie? No, are they
they
available?
they moved Finney
Oh
and
yeah, that's right. He went to the Nets. I'm
they
sorry.
went to the net. Both Dinwiddie and Finney went to the Nets. Kyrie should be available today. No Luca though, and that's a big part here. So if we go real quick, I just want to talk about Luca. We talk about the injury replacement theory. So far in the NBA, when a key guy comes out, typically the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
guys step up. But if we go to the Mavs here without Luca, Doncic not in player. So this is the Mavs this season without Luca. 1-7 straight up, 3-5 ATS, 5-3 to the over. Surprisingly, you would think that for the most part they're not going over because they don't have offense on their side, but
Mm-hmm.
they're going over because the low totals, also because they're giving up a lot of points. So possible look towards the Clippers team total over, possible look towards the Clippers, but like you said, man, the Kyrie here, he has a lot to prove. This might be a game where he does show up. I'm not 100% sure. This is a game that I'm probably going to stay away from, but I would lean towards the Clippers and the under for the most part, because think about it. No trust, no camaraderie, no chemistry on that Mavs side. You would think that they would typically not score a lot of points in that spot.
Yep.
And it goes to show here, uh, other than this game, 124. Well, this is 123 game. This was just a high paced game. They're really not scoring a lot of points. And if you go to a full season perspective, right? You already talked about the Clippers at home, just at home specifically, 19-5-1 to the under. Look at that average combined score there. They have gone over in two straight. So maybe that has flipped. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe that trend is flipping, right? Because we talked about it earlier, just like the Warriors game. They're not gonna stay over on the road. These guys are not going to stay under at home for forever, right? It's not going to continue to
Exactly.
do. So maybe the script has flipped for these guys here. I don't know. For me, I'm probably going to stay off of this just because we don't know where the Mavs are with
Yeah.
Kyrie here, right? We want to see
I agree.
how they go. Probably
I'll
a
stay
couple
off as
games.
well.
Yeah, probably a couple games under the belt. Then we'll start to see, sort of the way that kid, changes the offense with these
Mm-hmm.
two guys here. That's it for me on that game. What do you think about as far as you said lean towards the under as well?
Yeah, I would lean towards the under, but
I
it's
would
just
lean
too
towards
much
under.
uncertainty for me to actually go to the window and make an official bet.
Yeah. Let's look at this real quick because I did like the under. I just don't know because they went Clippers have gone over in two straight. I just like I said, I don't know if they're gonna flip the script here. But Mavs following a win as a dog, they typically struggle in that spot here.
Yeah,
And that's with or without Luca. 0-3 straight up, 0-2-1 ATS, 3-0 to the under. And they're going under by a huge margin there.
yeah.
So I can only look towards the under. I'll probably stay away from the side. But yeah, just a strong lean to the under there. I'm probably not gonna mess with anything.
Yeah, we got enough action. I think we
Yeah,
won't have
they're really a wait and see game here for them.
Yeah, and it's a late game too. So let's see how our action is earlier, and we can see if we can house up
Exactly.
on later.
Exactly. Yeah, man. With that said, man, we went through a lot of games on the board there. I know you said you touched on hockey and some other sports as well. Do you have you want to drop it? Actually, let me just take the screen off real quick. Let's head to recaps and closing comments for now. Um, real quick, do you have any plays in hockey today, or what do you
It
got
was
going
only
on?
2 games, so I really didn't look at it. I know it's an official Thursday. Tomorrow, is a more of a better slate.
Gotcha.
So I really didn't see anything today in hockey. Last night I did good as far as I cashed on some last night, but I didn't look at nothing today. to be honest
Gotcha.
with you.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the recap then for the NBA slate. What do you want to drop for the viewers here for the NBA?
My officials is definitely Detroit Cavs under 220. I got it 223. It's 222. You said now official number.
222, 221 and a half. It's
Yeah,
I think it's gonna continue to go down, especially if someone actually sits.
yeah. So that's my official under in that game. I'm also on the under Pacers and Heat under 223. It's my official. I'm on Kings first quarter minus 2.5 over the Rockets, and I'm almost certain I'm gonna get to the window with the spread. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm almost sure I'm gonna bet the full game spread as well. And I'm on Warriors in Portland. I'm on first half over, full game over. Those are my officials.
I like it. All right. Well, for me, the top looks today. I'm gonna go with the Warriors and Blazers over. I did get that last night at 234 and a half. It went up to 235. Now it came back to down to 234 and a half. I'm not sure why. I feel like this is the total is really low. This might be a trap game. I don't know, but I trust my numbers here. I think it's gonna be an over game. The other one is the Pacers +7 or +6.5. They really have a chance to win this one outright, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I do think that Pacers team total over 110 is another look there, and then strong leans to what was it the Cavs Pistons under, I believe was the strong lean there. I do like the Kings -8 as well, or minus. I got -8 last night. I know it's only a 1 point move, but the closer you get to double digit, I want to stay away from it.
Yeah.
Right. It's not my biggest play, but I do like the Kings there as favorites. That would be the way that I go as well. So yeah, that's my recap for today. With that said, LJ, man, where can we find your work? Where can we see you on other shows? Talk to the people here real quick before we cut out.
Hey, they can find me on Twitter at LJ Sports Media. And for our shows, I'm all over the place, Ron. Like I'm on JayMoney Show occasionally. I'm on Pub Sports Radio. You can find me over there at Pub Sports with Jimmy the Bag. I just did his show earlier. So whoever is willing to bring me on and give my advice and insight, I'm willing to come on, Ron. Like you did today. I appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully, I look forward to being back on with you soon.
Yeah, for sure. You're not gonna. Yeah, this is not a one and done type thing, LJ. I really appreciate you. You always, like I said, man, always positive vibes, whether you're on camera or off camera, and that to me is super important. Is the off camera stuff, because it goes to show that it's not really just face. You know what I mean? Like, there's people out there who go on camera, all these different vibes, all these things that people say, and yeah, man, on the other side of it, they're really not the same person. And for me, from the heart, bro, truly appreciate you for showcasing that both sides, on and off the camera. Definitely want you on the show more often. The other thing too, as well, definitely guys, LJ from H-Town or LJ Sports Media on his Twitter. Follow that guy. He has a lot of great information. Drops his plays every day. For me, Youcapper Sports, it did change from @U_Capper to @Youcapper Sports. So that has changed on Twitter. Follow me on sportsmemo.com as well. A lot of my work is there. I do like to show this Let's Cap show. A lot of the plays that I do have on sportsmemo.com is there, but not everything. I do a lot of college basketball. I do have a UFC show later on today as well. I'm really excited for that one because huge card, UFC 284 to this weekend. I'm going to be breaking it down with Pat Gerhardt. You guys know him as a YBB. Also, Harry Mack. He trains with a lot of guys in the UFC over at Serra-Longo in New York. Some of the Serra-Longo guys in New York. Nice. So I'm really glad to have him on board on that show as well. We're going to have actual UFC fighters on the show as well moving forward. I think guys like Yanez is going to be on there. Okay. He has a fight coming up against Fant, I believe. So really excited for this UFC show to blow up. As much as Let's Cap has, I want that UFC show to blow up as well. So hopefully you guys support me later on. 4:00. I'll send the link out on my Twitter if you guys follow me. With that said, LJ, once again, appreciate you having being on the show. I always gotta end the show with like this. Whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. You guys are pushing the buttons. It's on you guys to make the call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace.